Hey, St. Lucia, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Today, I have up and rising athlete here with us, full of talent, full of promise and potential. So I'm pleased to be with Makiba Al Seed. And I do remember her from Convent, which is an amazing thing. So I've seen her grow. But first of all, how are you doing today, hon?
I'm doing good. Just finishing off my session. A little tired, but doing well.
Listen, when you see this girl put her mind to something, she really just goes for it. And she's a powerhouse when you see her training. But of course, you'll see her in action during this interview. So, Makima, I just want to introduce you officially again here to St. Lucia. It's a new year, and I think we have so much talent. So, let us know your story as an athlete. Where did it all begin for you?
For me, it began at Davimera Girls Primary School. I transferred there from Lakwamengo Combined when I got hit by a vehicle, actually. So my mom figured it would be safer for me in the city. So I moved there, and I was discovered during a PE class by Twatine.
Nice.
Then after that, I joined his club. He asked me to join his club. I joined his club, started doing sprinting. I started off with sprinting. Then I went to Convent. I played netball there. I did track as well, and then we decided that that wasn't my route because I was pretty much average in everything. And there was this event called the heptathlon. So we decided to start off at that, and that's what do now is the heptathlon.
Okay, great. So, for you, when did you realize that you actually liked being involved in sporting activities?
Uh, I don't know when exactly I realized that I wanted to be involved. It was just something that I discovered that I was good at, and I always wanted to get better at it. And when I was younger, I wasn't really educated on sports per se. I think, like, especially track and field, that's not something really big in St. Lucia. And the more I did it, the more I wanted to know. And when I started making national teams and traveling and started seeing how good people were, I just wanted to be at that level. And I remember I went to the University of Arkansas. I got a full scholarship there. And one day my mom called me and she saw me on television and she was like, "Oh, you're one of those people you saw on TV competing." And that was like a big wake up moment for me. Like, I'm doing what I love.
Great. Now, for those of us who may not know, what exactly is the heptathlon?
Okay, so the heptathlon is a bit complicated. It's 7 events over a 2-day period, and basically it's a point scale. So the higher you jump, the faster you run, the further you throw. Basically, the more points you get, and at the end of the 2 days, the person with the most points win. But we have the 100-meter hurdles, high jump, long jump, shot put, javelin, the 800 and 200 meters.
Great. Now, I know you've also had some experience and also represented outside of St. Lucia. So, just tell us about some of your achievements thus far.
Well, I've made a few national teams. I am a silver medalist. I got a silver medalist at Carifta Games. That's when I got recruited to go to the University of Arkansas. There, I actually became a 4-time conference champion, which is like a really big deal. I was the former NCAA record holder in Division One. That's like one of the highest statuses you could have. 2-time NACAC bronze medalist. I have about, I think, 4 or 5 OECS records, as well as national records. So I do a little bit of stuff, I guess.
Now, you know what I'm enjoying? That you're saying it and you're just so cool about it. So calm, like, no, it's okay. This is all I have. This is what I really like. Again, she's still so humble about it. And as you can see, this is a big deal. You are a big deal. And St. Lucia, we have so much to look forward to from her. So what are your plans for the future? Where do you see yourself?
All
Or
right.
where would you like to go, I should say?
Right now, I'm actually training in St. Lucia. I'm enjoying it a little bit and not at the same time because obviously the facilities here are like not that great, not what I got used to. But my coach abroad and I are like working with what we have. But the goal is to qualify for the World Championships in August and move from there.
All right, super. So you heard it here first at St. Lucia. So we have to support our own, and hopefully we definitely hope to see you make that championship and represent here for us. And quickly, before we go, who are some of the persons who inspire you?
My mom is one of my major inspirations. I think from the get-go, from the jump, she has been one of the persons that always told me to like go for it, try it out. And I think having a mom like that and growing up around that is like was really great for me. I think Totne Kavbot Modest, he's one of the guys that actually got me involved in the sport, and actually like he's still on my back. We communicate 100%. Like he learns from me, I learn from him, and I think that's a big deal. He's one of like the best youth coaches on the island, and I appreciate that because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been doing this.
Super. So St. Lucia, this is our own Makiba Alcide, and of course aiming high and shooting for the stars. So we got to keep supporting her, and we'll keep following you, all right?
Thank you.
Good morning, St. Lucia. How are you doing today? Thank you again so much for joining us. And if you just tuned in, you are watching This Morning here on DBS, Your Leader. Now, today's segment is going to be really interesting. And, you know, it's going to be, I should say, culinary delight. And I'm pleased to have our very own son of the soil, Chef Dennis Rosenberg, correct?
That's correct, thank you.
Perfect. I had to make sure I get it right because I don't like to mistake people's names. But I'm so pleased to have Chef Dennis here with us because he's done something amazing and he's created a Caribbean cookbook. But this one is very different because it is a French Caribbean cookbook and it's called Taste of the French Caribbean.
That's good.
So, first of all, good morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Super.
And I'm happy to be here.
Listen, I love food, so any journey that we can take, whichever way it goes, is always interesting.
Okay.
So, let's see, we should know about your cookbook that you've done.
Well, my cookbook, I done it because my customers have been asking for recipes from St. Lucia and how I do things because I own a restaurant in the UK. And I decided to write a cookbook about 2 years ago. And so they could purchase the book and they can have some of my recipes, not all of them, but some of them. And because my restaurant is predominantly gluten-free, which is, you don't use any flour, the normal flour for bread or anything like that. We use things like corn flour, wheat flour is not used at all. We use like yam flour, we use cassava flour, we use arrowroot. We use the natural stuff,
Right.
okay, to thicken and to make bread or cakes and stuff like that. So because in England now there's a big thing about celiacs, which is the gluten-free. And I know in St. Lucia we have problems there also, but a lot of people don't know that they have the problems. So I decided to write a book, and plus I decided to use all of the stuff in St. Lucia because of the waste I see when I come here. Mangoes, guava, you name it, golden apple. Goes in the bit, like right now we have golden apple in abundance.
Right.
And it's going to be thrown away. So I've created recipes to actually combat that, so you can actually use all the fruits and vegetables that you have, and you could store it. You could put it in after you make it. You could put it in the freezer and use it when you want, right? And this is partly why I've done it.
Super. Now with it too, you know what I want to really differentiate right now? Because when you think of Caribbean cooking and cookbooks, you know, just general the Caribbean, its cooking is as colorful and flavorful as our culture itself.
Mhm.
But what's really distinctive about French Caribbean cooking?
Well, put it this way. You see, where we were colonized, right in the Caribbean, different islands have different way of cooking. You go to Barbados, you find it's limited. Jamaica is limited. They have jerk chicken and jerk pork and, well, not many, much more, right? But in St. Lucia, we have the French ideal. And most chefs train with the French culinary arts. The reason being is because they have so much variety of foods to do. So what I've done is that I've used some of the ideas and I've modified it to our St. Lucian way of cooking with the spices. We use piment majac. You must know what piment majac is, right? I use a lot of different herbs and spices that we get here. And I've put them together and I marinate a lot of my stuff. I've got a dish in there which is a mutton curry, which I marinated for 6 days before cooking. Wow. Now, when you taste that, you're going to find it melts. People think mutton is a very hard meat, but it's not. It's the way you prepare it and cook it.
Wow.
You see? And all my stuff is marination.
Great. So you see, so there's just that extra bit of flavor.
Flavor to it.
You know, when it comes to French
So when you sit down and you eat it, you say, wow, you want to know how to do it.
Nice.
But now you'll know how to do it because it's in the book.
Super. Now, Chef Dennis, just tell us a bit of your background, you know, your culinary experience.
Well, my experience was my grandmother taught me how to cook from the age of 6 because we used to go hunting, we used to go fishing in Grosley. You know where the marina is right now?
Yes.
It used to be the Maigo. The Maigo is the mangrove,
yeah.
right?
That's true.
So that's where I used to catch my abab, right? Which is tilapia. What they call it the name now, tilapia. Right? Black tilapia, right? So that's where I started, and my grandmother taught me how to scale the fish and clean my birds, roast it beside the coal pot, you know, stew it, right? And then from there, when I went to England, I was looking after my siblings because my mother used to go to work at nights. So I used to feed them at 11, 12 years old. You have to know how to cook.
Right.
So when I came back to St. Lucia, straight away, I was in the Holiday Inn, and I know how to cook already, but not as flamboyant as these guys know, right?
Right.
So I learned as much as I could, and then they sent me to England. And I worked in different big restaurants, establishments, and hotels. I went to America, as I said, to open 2 restaurants in America. I came back, and 27 years ago, I moved to Norfolk. And I opened my restaurant, which I've still got my restaurant there. It's called Chez Denis Restaurant. So if you want to have a look, it's www.chezdenis, that's CHEZDENIS.co.uk. And you'll see a array of stuff that we do. We have places in the south of France renting out. We have a hotel in Norfolk, which people use, and also apartments in St. Lucia. I belong to the SLHTA also, so I promote St. Lucia a great deal.
Right.
Because in my restaurant, it's all to do with St. Lucia. So when people come from holiday or going on holiday, they come there and they say, wow, I'm going to St. Lucia. Then I organize somebody to meet them from the airport or from the ship. And that's what I do. I promote our island a lot.
And you know what? This is what I love, St. Lucia, our national pride. So even if he's not physically here 365 days a year, he's still pushing the island. The book alone is testimony of the love for St. Lucian culture and cuisine and those flavors. So if persons want to purchase this book and also follow you, just let them know how they can keep in contact.
Just get onto my website, www.chezdenis.co.uk. You could pay by PayPal. And what I'll do is I'll sign a consignment of book to my cousin, which is Celestine, and she's got a place in Rodney called Costless Cars. So you collect your book from there, because otherwise posting the book from the UK individually costs too much money.
Right,
so we're going to try to make it as cheaply as possible for people to access. And you could, but I'm going to donate one of the books to the library.
Nice.
So you could go and have a look. And if you like what you see, you just purchase one.
Perfect. So St. Lucia, you have full access to this amazing book, which again just represents our culture and how flavorful French Caribbean cuisine is. So make sure you check out the website. And if you're ever in the UK, go visit his restaurant as well.
You must. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. St. Lucia, thank you as well.
It's been a pleasure.